Alright, welcome back. We are closing in on our video previews for the 2014 Grappler Fall Classic, 5th annual. We're back this year at Kellogg Arena, Battle Creek. Going to be a heck of a show. We got over 700 kids coming from all over the country. It's the bigger and better than it's ever been. Continues to grow into one of the elite preseason tournaments in the country. Right now what we're doing is we're talking 171 and 189. We're doing both weights in one. And next to me, to my left, first of all, I'm Tony Greathouse, MichiganGrappler.com, and to my left I have Steve Wodzinski, high school analyst for the Associated Wrestling Press, JJ Johnson, college analyst for the Associated Wrestling Press. These are two of the most knowledgeable wrestling minds in the country, and they're going to help me break down everything you need to know for 171, 189 at the GFC this Saturday. We're going to start out with 171, and first, Steve, let's do a quick rundown of the guys to watch who we got pre-seeded at 171 pounds.
All right, so only 8 seeds here, a little bit lower in terms of numbers. This is where we start to get to the point of the weight classes where there's a lot of guys who are currently in football season, but still a really good group, just a smaller group. Number 1 seed, Devin Pingle, 2-time state finalist, 1-time state champion. He wrestled 189 at this last year, and he's coming back at 171, so I think he's going to fare a little better. I think he ended up taking 5th or 4th last year, so still a pretty good tournament. But number 2, Andrew McNally, Uniontown Lake, Ohio. He's a junior, took 5th in the state last year. Really like him a lot. Number 3, Oscar Ramos from Wisconsin, also a junior, also a returning state placer. Some pretty good national credentials as well, I believe. Number 4, Brady McFarland, highest seeded senior. He's a Wisconsin state qualifier. Number 5, one of my favorite sophomores in the state, a guy who I think has a ton of potential, Sam Greco from Granville, Michigan.
I wonder if he likes to wrestle Greco.
That's interesting.
Really good enough about it.
Number 6 is Manuel Roldan from Melvindale, Michigan, who actually qualified for states at 189 last year and is dropping to 171. So he could be pretty dangerous down a weight class, lean and mean. Number 7 and number 8 are Brody Neeson and Jeremy Kaddish of Grand Rapids, Kenowa Hills, and Gladwin, Michigan, respectively, I believe.
Gladwin in the house.
Maybe Gladstone. He's Glad.
He's from a Glad school. Either way. Anyone else in there to keep an eye
on? Caleb Childers, returning regional qualifier from Rockford, and
Rocktown.
My boy Matt Silla, hoping he breaks through this year from Northville, Michigan. Could be a sleeper.
Go Stangs. JJ, out of those top 8, what do you see? Obviously Pingle is a stud. He's one of the best kids in the country, and he's going to compete for a state title this year. But who else do you see in this weight class? Anyone that can beat Pingle? Any early matchups you see that are interesting?
I don't know if anyone can take down Pingle. If someone were to do it, it would probably be someone from that 2 to 4 range that I'm not as familiar with. Maybe those guys are better than I'm estimating them at. I do know McNally's really tough, and Ramos is really tough. But I just think Pingle's a little bit better than those guys. He looked really, really tough last weekend at the fall duels. I really like watching him wrestle. He's been one of the top guys, definitely in his class, but one of the top guys in Michigan for a long time. So I think he's the top guy. And then McNally Ramos fight it out to wrestle him in the finals. I do want to see Brady McFarland Sam Greco match. I think that'll be a good match. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Steve, what do you got? Who you got winning this thing, and how do you see it playing out?
It's nothing against Devin Pingle, big fan, have been for a long time, but I am all in on Andrew McNally. I'll say right now, in stone, he will be a top 20 kid in the country by the end of the year in the national rankings on the Associated Wrestling Press, and I think he's going to have a big test with Ramos. I think Pingle is a much more favorable road to the finals, but got to throw some upsets in here at some point, and this is my upset. I think Andrew McNally wins it all and upends Devin Pingle in the finals.
You know, Steve, you've seen Pingle wrestle a lot, and JJ, I'm sure you have too. I feel like he wrestles. He's tough to score on, but I feel like his matches are very tight, very close matches. Mm-hmm. Do you think him and McNally is going to be a close match, or do you see them letting loose and having a high-scoring affair?
I wouldn't be surprised either way. I think Pingle, he's generally pretty defensive, but he's also not afraid to go big. He's got kind of an arsenal of attacks, and I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe break out some of the big guns in the finals, and we could have hopefully a pretty offensive match.
If you guys are watching this, I hope you guys cut loose and have some fun in the finals, because we like to see people get some at the Grappler Fall Classic. So that's 171. We got a pick for McNally and a pick for Pingle. We're moving on to 189. Steve, give me a rundown. We got some guys up top who are pure hammers at 189 pounds, couple nationally ranked guys. But talk about them, talk about everybody else. We got two.
Really good. Junior Jack Harris, one of the best junior upperweights in the country. He's the top seed from Ohio. Ohio State runner-up. He's had a lot of success at Fargo. I think he's a cadet folk style, either runner-up or champion. He's had a ton of national success. He's ranked number 14 in the country at 195, top 75 recruit in the class of 2016. And at the number 2 seed, we have someone with comparable credentials, Jacob Cooper, Springport, Michigan. He's a senior, 3-time state finalist, 2-time state champ, Flow Nationals All-American, returning GFC runner-up, and he's ranked number 16 in the country at 195, so that's a match that's going to have some implications for the national rankings. And then running down the list, number 3, we got another state champ, Raekwon Regler, out of Florida. And more from the Sunshine State. Number 4, Adolfo Sotolongo, a state runner-up, also out of Florida. Number 5, Tyler Harrington, Illinois state qualifier. Number 6, Ryan Wosick, Illinois state qualifier. Number 7, Alex Bleeker, another Illinois state qualifier. And then rounding out the state qualifiers is the number 8 seed, Anthony Crowell, and the number 10 seed, Jared Elvesteffer. At number 9, in between them, we got Dominic Vitriano, who I think is another Uniontown Lake guy. He was a state alternate. And number 11, Jake Cleamola, Indiana senior semi-state qualifier. And at number 12, interesting, an 8th grader, SN 189 in the high school division, Johnny Schaefer of Ohio, who is an TOC champion and has a lot of really impressive youth results over the past couple of years.
All right, JJ, we got a lot of out-of-state kids here. We got Ohio, Illinois, Florida, Wisconsin, Indiana, all these other states, and then Cooper, the big name Michigan guy. What do you see in this weight class? How do you see it shaking out? Do you think it's a 2-horse race with Harris and Cooper, or do you think one of these out-of-state guys can hang with these two?
If any of the out-of-state guys are gonna knock off one of those guys, it's got to be 5, 6, or 7. I've seen Cooper wrestle regular, and it wasn't necessarily close. They wrestled at Disney this last summer, and Cooper kind of put it on him. So I think Harris and Cooper they'll be fine with the 3, 4. I don't know as much about the 5, 6, 7. I know they're Illinois state qualifiers. I know Illinois is one of the toughest states out there. So I would really like it if one of these guys came out of nowhere and was awesome. There's a couple kids like that last year. Kane McCallum was one of them.
Yeah.
That was just a state qualifier and went on to beat Jordan Cooks at the tournament. So I don't know. Those are probably the best bets for guys that come out of nowhere and pull some upsets.
That's what we love about the GFC, and that's really the basis of why the GFC was founded, was because we here in the Midwest, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, there's kids that don't even place in the state meet who are studs, and they don't always have the means to get out to Fargo or to go all the way to Greensboro. So it's nice to have a tournament that's local for these guys to come and wrestle, and hopefully we see another guy from the land of Lincoln come out and put on a show and make a name for themselves. What about you, Steve? Is it Harris Cooper all the way, or do you see someone that might knock him off?
I'm pretty confident picking Harris Cooper right now. I think that they're a cut above, and I think they might have some competitive matches in the quarters of the semis, but I'd be pretty shocked if one of those guys was to not make the finals.
So let's talk about Harris Cooper. Last year they wrestled at Disney, correct?
Yeah.
And JJ, you were there? Watched that match?
Yep.
Give me a rundown of what happened in Disney last summer when they wrestled.
Yeah, so duel was on the line, number 1. We ended up losing the duel. But no fault to Jake, he went after and wrestled hard. They were pretty defensive throughout the whole match. They went into overtime, and Cooper got to a really nice shot and kind of went the other way on a position, and Harris kind of scrambled out and took him down. So it was one of those things, whoever wins the position wins the match. I think it could go either way. So.
Do you see this time around them opening up a little bit more? Or do you think it's going to be a tight match again? I mean, you said the duel was on the line last time they wrestled.
Yeah, so it might have been why they held back. Yeah, I think they'll open up a little bit. I think Cooper will get his left-handed high crouch going. And Harris is a pretty athletic kid too, so hopefully they
Cooper's a Michigan State commit. Like Steve said.
Harris actually a recent Kent State commit as an underclassman.
There we go. So we got 2 D1 guys, one going to the MAC, one going to the Big Ten. Who you got winning it? JJ?
Cooper.
Steve?
Overtime.
Harris.
Harris. All right, we got 1 Harris, 1 Cooper. Either way, guys, it's going to be a great match. And you never know, maybe one of those Florida, Illinois guys that are in the lower seeds are going to come out and knock one of them off. Everyone's going to be there to get some. GFC 2014. Check out all the video previews, MichiganGrappler.com, GrapplerFallClassic.com. And if you are in the area, hop in the car, make a road trip out of it. Come on to Battle Creek Saturday. It's going to be fun. We start bright and early, 8 a.m. It's going to be going on all day long, and it's going to be one heck of a tournament. Bigger and better than ever. Hope to see you there. If not, all the videos are going to get posted throughout the weekend. We're going to have some great matches, some great interviews, and everyone's going to be there ready to get some.